If you are drowning in debt, the decision to file for bankruptcy can be a painful one.
Yeah, no one expects to end up in this situation, but our next guest is committed to helping guide you through the process and bring you to the other side with a positive solution. Eileen Dolaghan is the president of Dolaghan Law. Welcome, Eileen, for being here. Thank you so much. So, okay, so how does somebody know if that they need to start considering bankruptcy? Give us an idea of what you typically see in your law practice.
Well, I think an individual has some telltale signs in their life. Maybe they've already stopped paying bills or paying bills late or skipping a month just to make other bills, to pay the car payment or the mortgage payment. They may already be receiving collection calls or any other type of harassing letters or things like that. But even more telling if you're taking payday loans or even worse, borrowing from your retirement account to make those bills.
What can we accomplish if we decide that bankruptcy is for us? Obviously, we need to sit down and work with you to figure what that is. But what can we expect from if we do file for bankruptcy?
Well, I think it's important to discuss your options with a professional. But if you do file, the first thing that you're going to experience is you're going to feel a big sense of relief because now there's an automatic stay, an injunction against collections from those creditors. Now they're going to have to deal with how they're provided for through the bankruptcy court. So a person can accomplish a lot of things through filing a bankruptcy as far as that goes.
So what about property? I think a lot of people are very concerned that when they file for bankruptcy, they're going to lose everything, their house, their cars, their 401k, everything.
Well, that is a big myth that people think, well, when I filed for bankruptcy, I'm going to lose everything. And they're not. The law is going to exempt for them certain assets. If you live in Florida, for example, and you've been here for more than 2 years, it's going to protect your home, which was great back when people had a lot of equity, but it's still going to protect your home 100%, your retirement accounts, modest protections for personal property and household goods. And there are other provisions if you've lived outside of the state more than 2 years ago that will protect that. And what someone's going to feel when they file a bankruptcy, certain things that they can accomplish is get rid of unsecured debt like medical bills and credit card debt and those payday loans. One of the other things that they're going to be able to do is reorganize their debt as well. For example, you can take advantage of the mortgage modification provision in the bankruptcy. You can, if you're behind on your payments, you can restructure those. One of the big things that people are doing today is if your house is underwater, you're being able to strip second mortgages, junior liens, and the way you're going to do that is you're going to determine by looking at the present value of your house and looking at how much you owe on your first mortgage. And if you owe more on your first mortgage than your present value of your house, then there's nothing there to secure that line of credit or that second mortgage. So you can use the bankruptcy process. There's a procedure that can be done to treat that as an unsecured debt, and at the end, that debt will be discharged from your home.
And there are different types of bankruptcies that you can file for. What are the different ones, and how do they work for each of whatever your situation might be?
Well, typically a consumer is going to file either a Chapter 7, which is a liquidation bankruptcy, which the attractive thing about that, if you can qualify, Congress changed law back in 2005 to make it a little harder to qualify, is it lasts about 5 months and from start to finish. Chapter 13 is a reorganization bankruptcy, and in there, that's where you would restructure payments, like if you were behind on your house, maybe you owe the IRS money, so there you can pay back the IRS without paying penalties or interest, or if you have a tax lien, you may be able to cram that down to a smaller figure. And the same thing, a myth there is that they think, well, I'm going to be repaying everybody back, but generally those unsecured creditors are going to receive less. Every situation's different. That's why you need to have, a consultation with somebody who's familiar with the law.
And why, if someone's thinking that they might go down this process or go down this road, why should they start thinking about doing something now?
Well, now's a great time. It's a new year. It's time to get a fresh start. I always look at this when people have come, they've struggled for a long period of time, and really they've thrown everything they have at it, and especially when they've liquidated their retirement accounts, which are protected from your creditors. And what you can do is now get a fresh start. You can, instead of putting your money towards the past, move towards the future, and you just can push that financial reset button in your life. And now with it being tax season, people are filing their tax returns, and some are getting refunds. They can actually use that money to pay for the fees and costs associated with filing a bankruptcy.
If somebody is, out there and they're watching right now and they think, I don't, people can be trepidatious or maybe embarrassed about the fact that maybe they are faced with, the challenge. They may need to do a bankruptcy. What would you say to them?
Well, I would say millions of people do this, and thousands here on the First Coast do that. You're not alone. And what we do is we sit and we talk with you. We talk about your options and what's available to you. And I personally take my clients by the hand and walk them through that process because I know it's scary. People think they're by themselves, but this sense of relief and that they can get a good night's sleep again and they can move forward, I think it's worth exploring.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you, Eileen.
Thank
And
you,
we
Eileen
appreciate
Dolaghan. I like saying that name.
Thank you.
You said when you call people and you say Dolaghan, they say, you called again? Eileen called
Eileen
again?
Dolaghan.
That's right.
That's funny.
I thank
Thank you.
Eileen Dolaghan and Dolaghan
you.
Law for sponsoring this segment.
And if you have any questions about bankruptcy, remember their motto is "You're not alone." You can reach Eileen at bankruptcylawjacks.com or you can call 904-354-4935 for more information.